And welcome back to the program. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'd love to hear from you. Please do text us 22422. That's our SMS line. And you could reach out to us on social media at Citizen TV Kenya or at Citizen TV News. Please use the hashtag Opinion Court or at Ann Kiguta as well. That's on Twitter. On Facebook, we go by those respective names as well. Let me reintroduce my panel to you. To my immediate right is Mithika Linturi, I beg your pardon. He's the Igembe South Member of Parliament on a TNA ticket. In the middle, I beg your pardon, yes, TNA, right? In the middle is, of course, Edward Kisiangani, our resident political analyst, and Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, who is in URP. So, of course, both gentlemen being part of the Jubilee Alliance coalition, but having different views on the formation of the Jubilee Alliance Party. As you heard in an earlier report, there is a big retreat happening this weekend in Naivasha to discuss the developments of this party. I want to start with you, Senator. What informed the need to merge these strong political outfits, including the smaller ones, to form the Jubilee Alliance Party? What can it do for you in 2017 that URP, TNA and other constituent parties could not achieve?
First of all, we must make it clear that Jubilee Alliance Party is a coalition member of Jubilee Alliance. Right. Or a Jubilee coalition, just like URP, TNA, and the other political parties within Jubilee. The reason why we think that it's time now to move to one political party is because you know, the issue of managing coalition is not an easy thing. It could be easier at the top to manage coalition, but at the bottom here you will see a lot of bickering among members, which can be destructive. We think that in the 2 years we have tested the relationship among the coalition, that we have matured enough to be able to move to the next stage and form one big political party that will be able to give us the opportunity to consolidate our gains in terms of unity, in terms of policy, and also have one house that is going to give greater democratic space and more focus on the philosophy of the political party, putting all the tribes and communities and races in this country to one basket. In one political movement. And the other thing is, as I said, is just to avoid unnecessary political bickering and focus on development issues.
What you're terming as unnecessary political bickering is what others may call actually a functioning democracy. And so the move to clamp down on these parties is being seen really as a move to clamp down on the democracy within these constituent parties that voice differing opinions. Not
necessarily. You see, even in URP alone, within URP alone, there are different political voices, and it's one political party. ODM is the one which has the most diverse, I mean, from the Coast group to the Homa Bay group to the Siaya group. I mean, all these other political parties have succeeded to keep internal democracy, but having one political movement in one political party. And for us, going forward, we think it is in our thinking philosophically that going forward this country should have 3 or 4 political parties, that just like many other progressive democracies in the world, whether it's the UK, US, India, where you have 2 or 3 political parties, even in Nigeria, you have 2 or 3 political parties that are actually running the show and rallying all the people of the country, instead of each one of us having their own small kiosk, which is representing a clan, a tribe, a county or a region. Or possibly a different political ideology. Yeah. Just basically, you know, having all this movement, we have one. But then let me make it very clear, abundantly clear, that does not stop the existence of many other political parties. Just like I've said, in US, we know 2 or 3 parties, but the country has over 100 political parties. You will still have those small political parties. For us, we think that consolidates. I'm happy to note that even our competitors in court agree with us. And I have heard from the grapevine that they have also reserved their political name code. And they are, you know, we have just shown the way. We believe that this is the direction, the future of the country. We came from, you know, one political party. We moved to many political parties. We moved to coalition. It's now we are going back to a few large political parties. All right. Linturi, what do you think of what you've heard?
I think partly I will agree with my brother Murkomen, because we are from the same coalition. But I also agree with him that the right direction to go is, for example, if we were together in one political party, we won't be able to do a number of things, because that kind of so much difference that comes when we are discussing certain matters within the coalition, at least the tension and will just go down. But one thing that I want to remind him and the country is that personally, I take politics to be local. I take politics to be issues to do with interest. So I know that I'm seriously opposed to the merger of the two political parties, but I'm very much, I really take a lot of exception in which the whole thing was done. Because Kenya being a progressive democracy, a growing democracy, we need to get away from those situations whereby political parties have always been individual outfits. I would rather have a situation by, when you have an idea, sit down with your members. Because political parties is about membership. It's about how many people are within that political party, how many people will be able to go out there and say the political party. So if we are in a relationship like the one that we've been, a coalition, we've been existing very well. I think our marriage is very nice. We are happy about it. I don't think it has been really acrimonious in any way, because the democracy existing is too much. There's always give and take and a lot of compromise.
What are you opposed to in how it was done? Was it just a top-down decision, no consultation?
So when you find that a party is just managed or is done without the involvement or senior people like Murkomen or Linturim, because we are not...
he didn't even know.
He even didn't know. You know, the only, my only issue with him is just the matter has been sent, the same is there, and we are just doing the line. That is what I am really opposed to. Because, and I've been given a chance, I would say, yes, I can look at the structure, the way it has been done. Who is there representing the interests of my people? Right? How will the issues be addressed within the political parties that will deal with divergent opinions? Because I don't want to get into a party that will finally end up, if you have divergent ideas, then you are whipped from political, from parliamentary groups, the way Conda has been doing, and the political parties act is used to reprimand you, that you can even be chased away from a political party. No, those are the concerns that we may have, even though we may not be able to air. But that time has not been given, and I hope because we have a retreat, then these issues may be raised, and if we are convinced, then you most likely you may find us there. But in the absence of that proper explanation, then you finally, I can't.
Sorry, Senator, I'm going to come to you. Let me go to Prof first. Do you think this is a continuation of quote-unquote political intolerance in order to whip you all into one basket? I'm going to put you in one party, and then you can't dissent to anything.
I think, Anne, what Senator Murkomen is saying is a sideshow, and it doesn't begin even to address the issue. And if it can only serve probably to nursery school kids, they will really be amused by what he's saying. And for Honorable Induri, it is a political comedy which also entertains the viewers. But when the chips are finally down, what you need to know, I'm happy that you have brought Senator Murkomen on this show, because last year I observed that if Uhuru Kenyatta is going to be the politician that we know politicians do, he must speak the Machiavellian plot. And what has happened, Murkomen opposed me, but now the Machiavellian plot has started. I said that if Uhuru Kenyatta has to chart out his own political future, he must start destroying those who helped him come to power. And this is what he's doing. If the Naivasha retreat approves the merger is only meant to do one thing, to render Ruto useless, because by the time we reach 2017, he will not have URP, which he will keep using to remind Uhuru Kenyatta that I helped you during the elections. And this is...
Well, Murkomen is smiling
and I am shocked by Murkomen. He has been in the academy for a very long time, and he doesn't see that bit. Because if you look at what Kibaki did, after the movement you call NAC formed government in 2003, he had to form PNU so that people don't keep reminding him that we helped you in 2007. So in this case, therefore, by the time we have the new Jubilee Alliance Party, a number of people will have been destroyed and even rendered useless. People like Sakaja, people like Onyangolo, and there will be a new outfit that will be completely loyal to Uhuru Kenyatta, and even Ruto will not remind Uhuru Kenyatta that I'm the one who helps you. And in that way, the president has a chance now to direct his own affairs and choose his successor, or even help his successor to take power after 2022.
Necessary for him to keep a grip on power.
Yes, and this is what is happening. So the naivety you are hearing here on this show, being told, you know, we have no democracy. Of course they are not democratic. And the only thing that he said that I would really applaud is the fact that in this practice, there's no difference between CORD and the Jubilee, because even in the CORD coalition, we have a similar situation where if we keep CORD up to where it is, and then we take it to 2017, again, Kalonzo and Wetangula will keep telling, you know, Raila, we helped you. But we end up with a new political party. Raila has a chance as a dominant discourse, just like Uhuru is a dominant discourse in Jubilee, to say, now we have a new we have a new outfit, and we are starting afresh. This is where Uhuru is heading. And these guys have been boxed into the Machiavellian plot. They have no idea about it.
You are boxed and you have no idea, Mukame.
First of all, I'd like to start that I am among the firm believers of the Jubilee Alliance Party in the Jubilee itself. And probably I could be among the first people to suggest it.
Because you don't know what's happening.
Second, I just want to say that, because, you know, there are certain details I can't say here. But I want to tell the political scientists to go and do their research well. The truth is that William Ruto needs more Jubilee Alliance Party than Uhuru Kenyatta. The third is to say that, and most importantly, that there is no merger. What's happening here is a statement of intention going forward to 2017. I will remain in URP, Linturi will remain in TNA, but what we are trying to do is to promote a coalition partner in preparation of 2017. What we are saying, Anne, and I've said using biblical example, is that we have prepared the ark like Noah did. When Noah did it, many people never believed that it would rain. They had every doubt because they were seeing today, they didn't see tomorrow. Some people get things immediately, some were created to get it later. The most important thing is that by starting it today, we have the opportunity to do the consultation that Linturi is talking about, to carry along all our members, so that by 2017, everybody will have understood our ideology, the reason behind why we want to do that. And I can tell you that it can only serve to ground even more, to even make our relationship even more firmer. And all
but let me question you on something that you brought up so far. You're saying there is no merger, but in fact the reports that we have is that smaller parties that are constituent of the Jubilee Alliance have basically been told you close shop immediately.
No,
that's TNA and URP.
That is illegal.
Let me finish. The TNA and URP are the only two major parties that will survive up until close enough to 2017.
That is unconstitutional, that's illegal. There is no way you can remove BAS, for example, or any other political party, because, you know, everyone who is in their political party now are there by law until the next elections. So those are just rumor mongers.
But how many of the smaller parties are actually constituent members of
the National Assembly? Let me remind you this. When 2017 comes, all these political parties would have their national delegates conference. Some of the national delegate conference will decide that they don't want to dissolve their party. What will you do to them? Ours is to preach. You know, the way ours is to preach to them. Those who will be, yes, we're evangelizing. Those who will successfully be converted will join the ark, you know, before the next election.
The rest will be drowned in the flood.
And those, not going, I don't want to use those terms, but I just want to say that there will be situations where perhaps one or two people are not joining a coalition, the Jubilee itself, but will associate themselves with Jubilee and they will survive the storm. So, you know, we're not saying
which storm is this that is coming?
Which is the storm he has seen? The storm is the lifeline, the supply line for blood for those who don't join the coalition is obvious.
Are you talking about the money?
The money.
Not money because...
But what I wanted to ask you, I'm probably just observe. Do you know that in Jubilee, whichever party you form, whichever confusion you give us, there is a master discourse, what you call a master narrative in Jubilee.
Yes.
The master narrative is Uhuru Kenyatta And to a very less extent, Ruto, whatever you do must end up with promoting the master narrative, which is Uhuru Kenyatta. That is what you are doing in Naivasha. Don't tell us about anything else.
Let me first add something.
Yes, he must win. He must be there.
Okay, Prof.
Prof has asked a question, just quick one.
Yes.
First of all, we have no shame. It is not wrong to support Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto.
Yes.
And 2017 will support Uhuru Kenyatta as the president.
So say
so
that,
the narrative for 2017 is not in doubt. It's Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
And for 2022 for us, it's not in doubt. It's William Ruto. But today we are not talking about 2022.
Maybe not.
We are talking about 2017 and what we want to do in that 2017.
Okay, Linturi.
My greatest fear in this arrangement is that you realize that we are just getting into a very big pool. A very big pool that that's the big fish and the small fish.
Yes.
So which one are you, sir?
Yes, and the problem is that the small fish might end up being seriously suffocated in this pool. And in that confusion, the small fish will never get a chance to really be able to explain themselves in terms of what they want, in terms of how they feel, because they'll be getting into a forced type of marriage. And this is my serious problem, because when you look at the size of the people coming together, the numbers are big. So when, for example, if you are trying to establish a relationship without that serious bond, without really tying or signing that particular paper, you can be able to bring conditions. If I have to get here, this is what I want. But when you are there, then we'll be told, my brother, you know you are at home. So it's either you decide you are staying here or you go. And that is a problem. Remember, this is a serious, in my opinion, will be muzzling our democratic manner in which we have been doing things. So our right to expression in this particular instance will really be.
Wait, hold on, Prof. Hold on. Is the option then, Linturi, not to join?
Yeah.
Just
right now, my position is I will not go out prevailing to anybody to get into this thing until we really understand it. Yes. The reason being that we don't know who the owners.
What are your chances?
We don't know what the intention of this particular political party is.
I agree with
and
Linturi.
what will your chances of survival be outside of JAP? I hear it's now going by the name JAP.
Let me say this. You know, I have, for example, this is my second term in Parliament. Time has come when I don't think, other than outside Rift Valley, outside Central Kenya, anybody can, and Nyanza, anyone can be elected to Parliament in whatever party, as long as you have your own track record. I got to Parliament through Kanu, right? When Kanu was thinking, and when Kibaki and formed that serious party called PNU, when we were getting elected. So, and in Meru, there's serious democracy. So what I am trying to suggest here is, before we get there, let us really understand what it is there for us.
Can I confirm something?
Just a quick one. I have, from the beginning of this discussion, I provided these two gentlemen with the theoretical position, the tool with which to analyze what is happening in Naivasha. And I think Honorable Ndur has come out very well. I want to still stick there and say that the same person I called Niccolo Machiavelli said that the ends must justify the means. So whichever, you can question there was no consultation and they agree. You can question that somebody is trying to lock out muscle small people. You can't question that morality. In political thinking, it is the end, and the end is the master narrative, which is the president. And that so long as he's secure, even if Murkomen is left lame and limping, or Linturi is left without eyes, it will have to achieve that master narrative. That is what is happening.
Let me just say something. It's important. One, Professor is too much into conspiracy theories.
No!
And you know, he's my favorite analyst.
My too, incidentally.
Right. And but most importantly, I want to dissuade the fears that Linturi has. And I must say that most of our members are asking the same questions, whether it is in the constituency where I represent or any part of the country. And that's why I said it was good to start this thing early so that we can be able to move forward. Second, change is not easy. When we were forming URP, when we left UDM and forming URP, people were like, we are done. But URP now is the big party. Now people are comfortable. They're saying we can't live where we are.
Well, it's
but
let me
say this. Even children at home, when a firstborn, when the secondborn is born, there's always a problem of competition and so forth. I'd like to assure Linturi that in Jubilee House, there are many rooms. He should not fear. There is enough for everyone. Not only those who are already in politics now, but for the rest of the country.
Allow me to remind
yes, in Jubilee are toilets.
Yes, and allow me
so
to remind
you in their toilets.
Some guys will be in the toilet, right?
Because I've been in this game longer than he has
yes,
been.
yes.
That the other major serious problem is that you find that there is no single election that the presidential candidates have run using the same party.
Yes.
So parties have all been used like just like vehicles where you get from where? From Ambesco.
They are tissue paper.
That's not the one that I really want to use. But when you look at how these people have been conducting their politics, you are left with a lot of fears. Because if there was serious honesty in this particular matter, then I think we have achieved so much as a Jubilee coalition. There is nothing that we haven't done. We would have sat down together and agreed. And I want to tell the country that the political parties are being funded from public coffers.
Yes.
My greatest fear is that we get into an issue that is private property, so that whenever you want to discard it or keep it aside, it happens. I was very embarrassed when I saw Sakaja and the Secretary General for Onyango Law.
Yeah. They are getting irrelevant.
He appears before TV and Sakaja and says, we are presenting candidates for Kanjano by election. URP, TNA. The next day they are gone. I don't know, what are you boys saying? Right? The next day they are before cameras and saying, no, we are fielding one candidate and then Jubilee.
So you agree with me?
So it is not proper. Yeah. There is no democracy.
A final question to you. Tomorrow, the meeting is expected to kick off in Naivasha. We understand it was called by President Uhuru Kenyatta. He may be in attendance. Do you feel, now that we are hearing the sort of sentiment that suggests orders are coming from above, that you'll be able to, you know, sort of say your views and say this is something you do not agree with? Or is this just for television and tomorrow you'll be whipped into position?
Let me confess before this national television. We have very few people, very few even, that can stand strongly before the president and his deputy and say, Mr. President, with your due respect, we recognize you as president. But the way we are doing things is not the right way. Very few, if any.
Are you one?
And that, I'm not that type. I will not just be told. I think I exercise a very independent mind. I always agree to disagree. I always give my opinion. Because at the end of the day, I have a constituency to answer to. Because I can't just go without the rest. So when I go back, and why I take this one very seriously, is that when I go back to my constituency and my county, people asking me, have you people decided? Did you come to talk to us?
If you can't play ball, you should quit Jubilee now. Don't wait for 2017, because you'll be more embarrassed than you are getting embarrassed now.
But let me
the other thing is likely to happen is that if you do not play as a comfort kind of attitude within the party, then you may not even get a nomination certificate.
Let me be very honest.
You are a minority discourses within Jubilee, and you should come together to form a different outfit.
Let me just be honest. I am very lucky that I came to politics when Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto are leading this country. I have found the avenue without necessarily having to use the media to air my contrary opinion to the two. And sometimes I'm convinced, sometimes my views are taken. And once my views are accommodated, I am able to sing the same song because my views are there. Sometimes also my views are minority, and I have to accept that in a democracy. So I don't have the worry that I have to go to a rally or to go to a place and shout as against the president, because I've found it that it is possible to negotiate anything with them. It is possible to stand your ground before them and you get your point out, and then you are also convinced because they're experienced. You sometimes give in certain areas. I have enjoyed my politics because I'm working with men and like them. But I want to tell Linturi and the country that tomorrow the question of political party is the most insignificant. It's very minority. We are the coalition that was elected to serve this country. Tomorrow is about Kenya. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about the policies that we are running in this country and our performance. Political success for us is still small, but tomorrow is about what have we achieved. We are going to put to task the executive and the president when he comes to tell us what the executive is doing in terms of the programs that are in the manifesto and what we are able to continue doing in the next 2 years. And most of us, who will have the opportunity now to speak tomorrow, will be suggesting to the country and to the leadership of the country internally some of the things that must be done differently so that we can achieve our manifesto objectives.
Prof, as a final view, will this be, if mismanaged, your final view, if mismanaged, will this be the beginning of the end of the kind of solidarity we saw in the Jubilee Alliance, let alone the party that's trying to
Yes, you see, it is in the interest of Uhuru Kenyatta that the original Jubilee Alliance collapses. If it collapses, he has a chance to do certain things the right way that suits him. But when you hear, so some people can get disinterested, he can start the politics of the carrot and the stick, and then a few people will come to his side. There are also spillovers, disgruntled elements from CORD who can also join him, but he must start afresh, and the chance is happening now. But for Murkomen, my friend Murkomen, to tell us that they are going to discuss issues about Kenya, that one is a funny talk. You know what you're saying? It will not happen, and they are not going to discuss that. That is a mask. They are going to be told there is only one master discourse here, and we have heard very bad voices from Kericho and other places. We are now preparing you to sing one song. It is the old politics, and the Murkomen will come here and say, I didn't know.
Yes. So the party thing is an AOB.
Okay.
So unless he has a different agenda, I mean, than the one I know. The one I know.
Most AOBs turn out to be the main agenda.
All right, I hear you. Thank you all so much for your views this evening. Mithika Linturi, Member of Parliament for Igembe South, Ed Kisunyani, who is a resident political analyst, and of course, Senator Kipchumba Murkomen. Thank you so much for coming through. We are taking a short break. We're back with more news after these messages.